はいよ、眠れよ、走るは憎き向きの力を。Hi, this is part 1 of my review featuring Sacrifice, an Incense and Iron role-playing game. This role-playing game is inspired by Berserk, the popular manga and anime, the dark fantasy saga. I have talked about it sometimes. You know that Kentaro Miura, the author, died somewhat recently, but his best friend is completing the manga according to the guidelines left by Kentaro Miura. So this role-playing game is an old-school style experience featuring humans that have been branded for sacrifice. They have escaped the ritual and now they are fighting the darkness that tried to devour their souls. Before we continue, I would like to talk about this channel's sponsor, Heroes and Hardships. This is a universal RPG system, allowing you to play any sort of campaign, genre, story. You can create any sort of character imaginable. You have hundreds of tools to accomplish that. I'm going to put links in the description that will take you to the Kickstarter that has recently begun. I'm also going to put links to my reviews of the core rulebook in its early access version, my reviews of the Quickstart guide and the Wallace campaign setting based on the life and exploits of William Wallace. You will also find links to the website, to the Tetsubo section of the website. Tetsubo is an upcoming setting for Heroes and Hardships inspired by Japan's Sengoku era. And you're going to find a link to the Discord as well. Now let's continue. I would like to point out that this RPG is by the same author of Seekers Beyond the Shroud. That's one of the best, if not the best, solo modern occult adventures role-playing game currently in existence. I'm going to put a link to my review of that role-playing game in the description below, so please check it out. Now let's talk about the quality. The quality it's pretty good. I did find a couple of typos, a couple of errors, but the graphic design looks perfect, black and white, quite bleak and dreary. These Middle Ages, Dark Ages sort of illustrations perfectly express the accursed theme of the game. Despite of the couple of errors that I mentioned, the document is well organized, written and explained, and it's fully bookmarked and hyperlinked, so it's going to be very easy for you to navigate your way through the PDF. So overall, the quality is good. Now let's talk about the contents. So what is this game about? Sacrifice is a D20 system game. This means it's compatible with most, if not all, other D20 retro clones or pseudo clones even, and published material related to that. This game isn't exactly a retro clone, it's an original RPG. It does use some D20 based mechanics, but for example there are no character classes. In Sacrifice, you play as a branded, a character that has been marked for demonic sacrifice. Somehow, the character escaped the sinister ritual alive, but he or she is now chased both by demons and the all-powerful Inquisition. As a branded, you are no ordinary mortal. You have escaped certain death, and while the forces of evil are powerful, as is the Holy Church and its evil Inquisition, so is your will to live. Your determination and resilience in the face of certain death sets you apart from the common man, nothing else. What some deem supernatural abilities, you know that they are a combination of experience, determination and sometimes pure luck. Sacrifice is best played with a game master and a single player character. There is nothing stopping you from playing it with a bunch of friends, but the game thrives when it's a me versus the world situation, just like the Adventures of Gods. This also means that it's quite solo friendly. It doesn't include a solo oracle or a game master emulator, but you can use your own emulators and oracles with the random tables included in this core rulebook. Whenever a player character tries to do something and the result isn't evident, or there is something at stake, the game master will inform the player to roll a d20, adding a suitable ability modifier and/or skill bonus, and compare it to a difficulty class specified by the game master. The action is successful if the roll equals or exceeds the difficulty class. This is referred to as a skill check. So, for example, a task could be of moderate difficulty, you would need a 15 or above. But what if something is really hard? Then you would need to roll a 25 or above. You also have the advantage and disadvantage mechanic. Some situations, skills, gear, or other effects may influence your capabilities in a positive or negative manner. When for any reason you have advantage, you perform the check by rolling two 20-sided dice and choosing the more favorable of the two results. On the other hand, when you have disadvantage, you must roll two 20-sided dice and choose the less favorable result. Concerning critical failure and success, rolling a 1 on a d20, that is a natural 1, during either type of check is considered a critical failure. The worst possible consequence takes place. On the other hand, rolling a 20, a natural 20, grants a critical success. The best possible result takes place. There are some related combat-specific consequences regarding these critical failures and success, but on other occasions, the Game Master decides on the most appropriate consequence. And there could be some opposed check moments. When two characters take actions that have opposing purposes, for example, a character tries to sneak while another tries to find that character, their dice are rolled against each other. The player character with the highest roll wins. Dice are awarded to the highest ability score. Assistance is also permitted during skill checks. One character may help another perform a skill check if they are in the position to do so. This requires both characters to be undistracted and able to see the same task simultaneously. When these conditions are met, the character receives advantage to any applicable check that does not involve combat. This is the same regardless of the number of player characters or non-player characters assisting the character. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part, we are going to talk about character creation. This truly feels like a Berserk-inspired role-playing game. I especially like the Christian or Catholic horror. Christianity is great for tyrannical settings. You just need to go to the Middle Ages, to the Dark Ages to find some additional source material to further enhance the theme of the game. That moment when science, logic, and reason had taken a step back to allow dogma and doctrine to rule supreme, before humanity began its liberation from that towards the Renaissance, where philosophy and science flourished. Thank you for watching this part of the review, and thank you for your likes and your comments. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.